featuring vocabulary development. Good morning to each and everyone. For today's agenda, we are going to talk about the vocabulary development, understanding what one reads. Today is June 8, 2021. Okay, checking out the attendance, guys. You are going to comment down below the TikTok VD. Okay, guys, you only need to do is to comment down below the TikTok VD. For today, our educators from Bataan Peninsula State University Dinalupihan Campus, Bachelor of Elementary Education. Okay, please welcome our first guest, Mr. Apolinar, our first TikTokerist 2021. Our next guest is Miss Geraldine Manuel, our second TikTokerist for this afternoon. And our last but definitely not the least is Miss Via Joyce Santiago, our third TikTokerist this afternoon. So good afternoon, guys.
Good afternoon.
Okay, first you may greet our viewers for this afternoon. It starts with you, Mr. Apolinar.
Hello everyone. My name is Apolinar and I'm a future educator. I'm third year college.
Okay, and you are the first TikTokerist this afternoon. Our second TikTokerist.
Good day everyone! I'm Geraldine Manuel from BN3A. I'm second TikTokerist.
Okay. Our third TikTokerist, no?
Hello everyone, I am Joyce Santiago from BN3A and your future educator.
Okay, and our topic for today is so very special because we are going to talk about vocabulary and comprehension. Okay, so let's start. I know, guys, you are all excited. So Miss Via Joyce, can you share your experience and knowledge about this topic?
Going back to my first year of teaching, I found that reading comprehension was impacted directly by vocabulary. I had a student that could read beautifully and fluently, but when asked what it was that she read, she went blank. When you don't understand the word, how it is connected or associated with other words, it is hard to comprehend.
Okay, but before we proceed to our interview this morning, can you give the specific definition of comprehension and vocabulary itself, Ms. Manuel?
The definition of comprehension is the ability to understand and use what you have read or learned. Vocabulary is the body of words you know. Reading comprehension involves understanding, analyzing, and synthesizing words, sentences, and ideas. Words are everywhere, so as we improve our word knowledge, our vocabulary, we improve comprehension.
And another specific example, Mr. Apolinar.
So, since vocabulary is the knowledge base of words and their meanings, it is the go-to place in our memory system. So, our brain sifts through our memory bank to make sense of words. One of the ways it does is to make associations. So, when we make an association, it is easier for us to remember.
Okay, that's a very specific experience, rather. So, can you give us some examples about this topic, Ms. Manuel?
For example, the word organ can be associated with musical instrument or with parts of the body. So we associate the word organ with one of those categories as we read a selection. We combine it with the other information we read. This then tell us which meaning of the word organ is being referred to in the next text.
Okay, that's a very specific example. And I want to challenge you guys. I know that you are very good in teaching vocabulary and comprehension because you are a product of Bataan Peninsula State University Dinalupihan Campus. I want you to give individual maybe techniques or some techniques in teaching vocabulary. Starts with you, Miss Santiago. Can you give us one specific techniques to teach vocabulary?
The number one how to teach new vocabulary. Number one, use new words in a story to model what the word means.
Very good. That's a very important techniques. How about you, Mr. Apolinar?
For number 2, of course, use the new word in an example that they have made up.
Yeah, that's a very good technique, brother. How about you, Miss Manuel?
On the third teach vocabulary, doodle or draw a picture of what the word means.
Yeah, I miss Doodle. I know that you miss Doodle too.
Yes.
Right? We want to hear some more, Miss Bia Joyce.
Okay, the number 4. Make a vocabulary notebook or spiral notebook or binder. Have a page or 2 for each letter of the alphabet. Write the new word in the notebook with your story, example, and picture.
Very good. How about you, Mr. Apolinar? Another one?
For me, use the new words in vocabulary, word in conversation every day for 5 to 10 days.
Yeah, 5 to 10 days is
Yes.
enough.
Yes.
Okay. How about you, Miss Manuel, for your last example or techniques?
For me, lastly, for teach vocabulary, play games with words.
Okay, that's a very important technique. So, may we repeat those techniques in order? So, let's start with Miss Bia Joy Santiago again.
Okay, how to teach new vocabulary. Number 1, use new words in a story to model what the word means.
Yes, Miss Manuel?
Use the new word in an example that they have made up.
Yes, Mr. Apolinar?
Doodle or draw a picture of what the word means.
Okay.
Make a vocabulary notebook, spiral notebook or binder. Have a page or 2 for each letter of the alphabet. Write the new word in the notebook with your story, example, and picture.
Use the new word in conversation every day for 5 to 10 days.
And play games with words.
Yes, that's the technique from our educators on how you teach new vocabulary. Guys, thank you for that beautiful and very knowledgeable techniques on how to teach vocabulary or new vocabulary words. So let's go to the vocabulary development. Of course, if you know how to teach new vocabulary, of course, you need to develop it. So according to your own definition, according to your own experience, and many more, can you give us your insights about vocabulary development? Let's start with you, Mr. Apolinar.
So for me, vocabulary development is a process of acquiring new words to use in daily life, and more specifically, the basis for learning any language.
Which is true. And another insights, Miss Manuel.
Vocabulary development focuses on helping students learn the meaning of new words and concepts in various contexts and across all academic content areas.
Okay, another insights, Miss Santiago.
Teaching students to develop vocabulary means providing explicit instruction on important words from text and teaching students strategies to help them learn word meanings independently.
Okay, I know you want to add some more, Mr. Apolinar.
So it is a critical for both oral and written.
Yeah.
So vocabulary development to increase as a student get older to enable them to comprehend increasingly more complex in grade level texts.
Okay, that's good insights and experiences in teaching and learning vocabulary development. That's a good and knowledgeable insights about our topic this afternoon. So guys, let's go with our next topic this afternoon. Our next topic this afternoon is all about developing vocabulary skills. I know guys that you are good in developing your own vocabulary because you are a product of Bataan Peninsula State University Dinalupihan campus. So guys, I know that most of our students spent much time in learning new vocabulary words or developing their own vocabulary words. So, since when do you start enhancing or developing your own vocabulary? Miss Bea Joyce.
Since elementary.
Oh, that's a good start. How about you, Miss Manuel?
In high school.
During your high school?
Yeah.
Well, that's a middle level. How about you, Mr. Apolinar?
Same with answer of letters in chat. Elementary.
Oh, that's a good start in developing your own vocabulary. And thankfully, guys, we can pick up where you left off. Of course, our viewers. And of course, you bring a lot of techniques and tips this afternoon. But we are only focusing on the 7 tips and techniques because we have limited time this afternoon. So let's start with Mr. Apolinar. Can you give us your first tip or techniques in developing your own vocabulary words?
Develop a reading habit.
Why do you think developing your reading habit is a good tip in developing your own vocabulary?
So we all know vocabulary building is easiest when you encounter words in context. So seeing words appear in level, or rather in a novel or newspaper article can be far more helpful than seeing them appear on vocabulary list. So not only do you get exposure to unfamiliar words, so you also see how they were used.
Well, that's good because the more you read,
The more you learn.
So guys, you can use the hashtag the more you read, the more you learn. Can you repeat it, guys?
The more you read, the more you learn.
That's good. So let's go with our second tips and techniques this afternoon. How about you, Miss Manuel? What tips or techniques can you give us this afternoon?
Use the dictionary and thesaurus.
Why do you think that using dictionary and thesaurus is a good, good tips or techniques in enhancing and developing your own vocabulary?
Online dictionaries and thesauruses are helpful resources if used properly. They can jog your memory about synonyms that would actually be better words in the context of what you're writing. A full dictionary definition can also educate you about antonyms, root words, and related words, which is another way to learn vocabulary.
Okay, because we need to learn a lot of words. That's a good tips in developing our own vocabulary. How about you, Miss Santiago? What is the best tip and techniques that you can give us this afternoon?
I think play word games.
Everybody loves to play word games.
Yes.
Why do you think that playing word games is helpful in developing your own vocabulary?
So classic games like Scrabble and Goggle can function as a fun way to expand your English vocabulary. Crossword puzzles can as well. If you really want to be efficient, follow up rounds of these word games with a little note-taking. Keep a list of the different words you learn while playing the game and then study that list from time to time.
Okay, so I miss playing Scrabbles also.
Yes.
So let's go back with Mr. Apolinar. How about you? What is the next tips or techniques that you can give us this afternoon in developing your own vocabulary?
Use flashcard.
Flashcards, the thing like that.
Yeah.
Okay. Why do you think that using flashcards is helpful in developing your own vocabulary?
So we all know the use flashcard. A quick way to build a large vocabulary is to study a number of words via flashcards. So in today's digital age, a wide array of smartphone apps make flashcard convenient and easy to organize. Aiming for one new word a day is reasonable. So you can always go for more, but it may not really be reasonable to assimilate dozens of English words every single day.
Okay, do you love the word reasonable?
Yes!
Okay, Mr. Apolinar loves the word reasonable. And of course, we can use flashcards especially if we are teaching vocabulary. I know guys, even you can use the flashcards in teaching, right?
Yes.
Okay, let's go to Miss Geraldine Manuel. Can you give us some more tips and techniques in developing your own vocabulary?
Subscribe to Word of the Day or feeds.
Why do you think that subscribing to Word of the Day feeds is helpful in developing your own vocabulary?
Some web platforms will provide you with a word a day, either on a website, an app, or via email to help you expand your vocabulary. You can add these words to running word lists.
Okay, that's good. So if I will going to ask you guys, what is your word for today? Let's start with you, Mr. Apolinar. What is your word for today?
Word for today.
Okay, let's start with me. My word for today is love. How about you, Mr. Apolinar?
Beautiful.
Beautiful. How about you, Miss Manuel?
Faith.
Faith. How about you, Miss Santiago?
Learn.
Okay, that's a good example of a word for today. Okay. So let's go with you, Miss Santiago. What is your next tips and techniques in developing your own vocabulary?
I think use mnemonics.
Why do you think that using mnemonics is helpful in developing your own vocabulary?
Okay, a mnemonic device is a form of word association that helps you remember words, definitions, and proper uses. For instance, think of the word obsequious, which means attempting to win favor from influential people by flattery. Break down that word into components. Obs is the beginning of obsess. Qui sounds like the French word for yes, and as is like the word as. So you can think of that big word obsequious as obsessed with saying yes to us, which is kind of what it means.
Okay, that's a good tips this afternoon using mnemonics. And according to Miss Santiago, that uy means yes in French. Okay, so I will going to ask you guys, and the only thing you need to do is to say uy if your answer is yes. Okay. Mr. Apolinar, did you eat your lunch this afternoon?
Uy.
Okay, that's good.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, Miss Manuel, did you sleep 8 hours today?
Uy.
Okay, that's good. And Miss Santiago, okay, what is the best question that I will going to ask you? Did you take a bath this morning?
Uy!
Well, that's good. Okay. So, of course, we are down with our last but definitely not the least tips and techniques in developing your own vocabulary. So, Mr. Apolinar, can you give us the last tips or techniques this morning?
Practice using new words in conversation.
Why do you think that using or practicing using new words in conversation is helpful in developing your own vocabulary?
So, it's possible to amass a vocabulary without actually knowing how to use words. This means you have to take it upon yourself to put your personal dictionary into use. If you come across an interesting word in your reading, make a point of using it in conversation. So by experimenting in low-stakes situations, you can practice of art of word choice and with a little bit of trial and error. So hone in on the right word for a particular context.
Of course, trial and error is part of developing your own vocabulary. Okay, of course, practicing using your new words in conversation is very, very important. So guys, if I will going to ask you right now, a while ago, I will ask you what is your word of the day. But this time, I will ask you what is your new word of the day. Let's start with you, Miss Santiago.
Obsequious.
Obsequious.
Yes.
That's a new word. Very good. How about you, Mr. Apolinar? What is your new word of the day?
Digital.
Digital. Okay. Digital age or something like that.
Yes.
How about you, Miss Manuel?
Thesaurus.
Wow, thesaurus. So that's your new word of the day. And let's make some review about the 7 techniques or tips this afternoon. So let's start with you, Miss Santiago.
Number 1, develop a reading habit.
Okay, always remember that, guys. Miss Manuel.
Use the dictionary and thesaurus.
Okay, always bring your dictionary. And the dictionary is on the mobile phone right now.
Yes.
Play word games.
Of course, the most miss playing word games. Next,
Use flashcards.
okay, flashcards.
Subscribe to Word of the Day feeds.
Okay, always remember that you need to subscribe on the word of the day.
Use mnemonics.
Okay, using mnemonics. Next,
Practice using a new words in conversation.
okay, I know guys that you learned a lot
Yes.
of tips and techniques this afternoon. And thank you so much,
Yes.
Mr. Apolinar, Miss Manuel, Miss Santiago, for this afternoon. I know we learned a lot from you. So, now, thank you for watching Think Talk this afternoon. Okay, guys? Can you say your name for the last time?
Okay, I am Bia Joy Santiago from BEd 3A, your future educator.
I'm Geraldine D. Manuel from BEd 3A.
Yes. And last but not least, my name is Apolinar from BEd 3A.
Okay, guys, and I am your host, Roy Alipio. Always remember that you need to think and
Talk.
okay, again, always remember that you need to think and
Talk.
okay, bye everyone.
Bye!